I wanted to talk a little bit about feelings because in the world today we don't have the opportunity to express ourselves as much as we would perhaps like to. Sometimes you can feel a whole host of feelings and there's no way you can possibly express them, whether it's anger or sadness or anything else. I felt a lot of grief recently when I was put in a situation where I was finding myself connecting to past feelings of grief and loneliness and despair. And sometimes these can pop up quite easily if you not prepared for it. We never are prepared for it, of course. Grief is something I think that we're actually all carrying along with us. We may not feel it's there, but if something happens to activate it, then it all surges up and we find ourselves not only thinking about the thing that's caused us the grief, but perhaps past experiences where we've just felt like utter shit, and it's not very comfortable. What do we do about it? Well, we can't do much about it at all. I think the best thing to do when this happens to you, whether it's grief, whether it's loneliness, whether it's despair, whether it's anger, it doesn't matter what it is, if it connects you to a past experience where you felt the same, then acknowledge that. Ride through that. Make it your purpose to help yourself through it. Be your own counsellor, be your own healer, and have patience. There's one thing we don't always have when we experience a so-called negative feeling, is patience. And these feelings, we tend to label them as negative, but they're not really negative. They are feelings. We need to see the whole range of, or whole spectrum of feelings as feelings. Not divide them up, whether we can say, I feel good today, this is a good feeling. It is a good feeling, but it's no less relevant than a so-called negative feeling or a bad feeling. Something we are owing, I think, is to make ourselves aware more of the feelings that go on inside. And I'm afraid I have to point the finger at the New Age industry again, because it tends to repress feeling. It aims to make you feel good and special. And we can't actually feel that all the time. Okay, we might feel that some of the time when we've done something, achieved something that we feel is great for us. And we're proud. That's good, that's okay. But this kind of plateau of good and positive and special feelings, that just don't exist. It's not in human makeup to be like that. That's in some artificial idea of what the human is all about. That's where it's contained. It's not real. So I think the New Age industry is particularly at fault where that is concerned. It's guilty for doing that. And if you have a whole range of feelings that you want to entertain, just entertain them. They will come and they will go like clouds in the sky. If you're in a very difficult situation and they don't pass, then obviously good management is called for. You've got to actually do something about it and see to what is going on in your life with a view to changing things. But this idea of so-called negative feelings is all out of context. When I felt all the grief and loneliness and despair surging up recently, It was a lot to do with what I was going through at the time. We adopted a new dog and it didn't quite work out, and I felt very miserable about this. And that, in turn, connected to feeling a loss of not having people around me who think in the same way, and also extending all the way to the loss of my culture. So you can see how something that happens for you can fall back on other experiences, and they can replay themselves over in your mind. It's natural. It's natural that we do this. We can't stop it, but we don't have to sit with it forever. We don't have to think, poor me, this is how my life is, because it isn't like that. Quite often, invariably, your association with so-called negative feelings is actually quite fleeting. They do come and go, just like the clouds in the sky. So it's something to think about where getting ourselves organised and healed is concerned. Life is going to dish out dirt, it's going to dish out all sorts of horrible things that we don't really want to entertain, but it's going to do that. We can't say, well, now I found myself, now everything's great, now I'm never going to have another weird feeling ever again. That is never going to exist. So look at it as it is, look at life as it is, look at yourself as an ordinary human being. I say ordinary because we're all ordinary. No one's special, nobody's out there. I'm not special, you're not special. We're not out there to convince everybody how great we are and how together we are and how now we've got it all worked out, man. It doesn't work like that. We've got to see ourselves first and foremost as an ordinary human being and simplify that process. Look at yourself with everything that you are and everything you have. Then a healing process can begin. The strange thing is the healing process doesn't work by making everything good. It works by helping you to open your eyes and see yourself just as you are, warts and all, and see that you're not that bad. In fact, you're okay. But that depends on how much you can accept what goes on for you and what plays itself out around you every single day and in the future that's to come. I always recommend to people I work with that good management is the best thing you can ever do. That is the best kind of healing process you can have. Learn about yourself. Learn about the way you tick. Learn about your behaviour. Learn about the way you interact with people and respond to people. Try to observe and see yourself on a stage, just like you're in a play, and you're interacting with people all the time. Sometimes you might react well, sometimes you might react badly, but see it all. Don't bash yourself up over it. Just see it as it is. And don't glorify yourself either. There's too many narcissists in the world. We don't anymore. Yeah, just have a look at yourself. Tell yourself you're okay, but tell yourself you're going to practice some good management to help yourself through whatever comes along, because things are going to come along. And if you are associating with a new age, I've got to get this in right at the end of this video, please rethink what you're doing. You're not helping cultures like mine. I've lost my culture. I've lost a lot of my people. I've lost a lot, and I'm always stitching it together. How can I do that when people in the New Age are telling me that I should be doing something else? They actually tell me I'm a little bit out of order. Not in so many words, but that's what they mean. You're out of order. You're out of line because you're saying that people should look at real culture. Is that out of line? I don't think so. So if you are associating yourself with the New Age, have a rethink. Have a little look in the mirror and say, I'm okay. I don't need to go and follow any of that crap anymore. Anyway, you know what I think. There'll be more videos to this effect, but be kind to yourself, but be realistic with yourself. And yeah, I think that's all for now. Thank you, as always, for listening.